WBH 2949 with your last lane weather. For Area 7, you have a gale warning. Northerly wind to 45 knots, with storm gusts to 55 knots. These buildings
Well, it was about 1961, 62, graduating from college. A friend of mine and I decided to drive up the highway and see what Alaska had to offer. Adventure, basically was it. Claire Heiner had the Mini B, and I heard that they'd had a $20,000 man share on there for the year. I kind of liked that idea. Of course, in those days, you couldn't get a job hardly on a crab boat unless you knew somebody or you're part of the family. One day, George Johnson come down, and you have to understand, I was working in the processor. In those days, the George Johnsons and the big-time crab fishermen were kind of like seeing Willie Mays or Willie McCovey come walking by. You know, everybody knew who they were in town, small town, and you're a little bit in awe of them. So he came up, walked right up to me, and wanted to know if I wanted to go crab fishing. I about fell overboard.
It's the money. There's good money in it. And, of course, that stuff spreads fast. Once somebody starts making it, well, that's the way it goes.
Well, when I first got to Seattle, I had $80 in my pocket, and I was fortunate enough to run into Jerry Oaksmith, who introduced me to Bill Ritter, who in turn hired me with his company as a processor. And that was my start in Alaska. And in those days, if you were willing to come early, stay late, work hard, there's a lot of opportunity.
In '66, when we had the Juno, we caught 5.4 million pounds of king crab with that boat, 11 months of fishing. And we grossed $540,000. And when you gross $540,000, the crewmen on our vessels are making $54,000 a year. So in '66, I mean, $54,000 was a lot of money for anybody's language, you know.
Well, I remember the first year I worked, I'd actually calculated out I made more money than my father had made in 5 years. Now, in those days, you could go on the work deck of a boat with rain gear and a pair of boots and actually dream that you could own the boat someday. And I was raised on a small farm there where there's no way you could work on a tractor and think you were ever going to own the man's farm. But there really was a dream in those days that you could start and work your way where you can actually own the enterprise that you're on. And I don't know how many enterprises there are where the laboring man just worked. It's all it was a strong back, could dream that kind of dream.